Samantha Weaver looked at the strange numbers on her computer screen. As the night shift worker at the Lunar Observatory, she often saw odd things in space, but nothing like this. The readings showed something big moving near Neptune, but it wasn't on any known flight path. Must be a mistake, her coworker Bill said with a yawn. Probably just dust on the lens again. Samantha shook her head. I checked 3 times, it's real. For 3 months, Samantha tracked the object. It moved in ways that broke the rules of physics. Sometimes it disappeared, then showed up closer to Earth. Her boss told her to focus on other work, but Samantha couldn't let it go. She knew this was important. One Tuesday morning, every TV, radio, phone, and computer on Earth showed the same message. I seek audience with your finest minds. My people once knew yours. It is time we meet again. The world went crazy. Some people packed their things and ran to the mountains. Others stood in the streets looking up at the sky. World leaders called emergency meetings. In her small apartment, Samantha's phone rang. It was the head of NASA. Dr. Weaver, the object you've been tracking has entered Earth orbit. It's a ship, and they're asking for you by name. Samantha's hands shook as she packed a small bag. How did they know her? Why her? She was just a regular scientist who noticed something strange in the sky. 6 hours later, she sat in a military plane heading to Nevada. Next to her, General Kate Wilson explained the situation. The ship is about half a mile long. Nothing we have can touch it. It just pushed aside 2 fighter jets like they were toys. They say they come in peace, but they're asking for you specifically. Samantha looked out the window. What do they want? That's what you're going to find out, the general said. The plane landed at a desert base surrounded by tanks, soldiers, and scientists. A large silver tent had been set up in the middle of the base. Inside, screens showed a live feed of the alien ship now hovering over the desert 10 miles away. It's been there for 6 hours, explained Dr. Olivia Blackwood, who led the government's science team. We've tried every kind of communication. They only say one thing: send Samantha Weaver. Samantha felt the weight of 1,000 eyes on her. Then I guess I should go. They drove her out in a jeep. As they got closer, Samantha saw the ship clearly for the first time. It wasn't like anything humans had built. The surface looked like liquid metal, flowing and changing colors in the sunlight. It had no visible engines or windows. The jeep stopped a safe distance away. Samantha stepped out alone. Hello? She called out, feeling silly. I'm Samantha Weaver. The air in front of the ship rippled like water. A door appeared where there had been none before. A figure stepped out and walked toward her. Samantha's heart raced. The visitor looked almost human but different in important ways. She was tall and graceful with skin that shimmered like pearls in the sun. Her eyes changed colors as she moved, from deep blue to gold to purple. She wore a simple white outfit that seemed to glow from within. I am Lyria, the alien said in perfect English, her voice musical and clear. Last princess of the Akamar. We have watched your world for a very long time, Samantha Weaver. Samantha tried to stay calm. Why have you come here? And why ask for me? Lyria smiled. You were the first to see us when we dropped our cloaking shield. The first to believe what your instruments told you when others did not. This shows a mind open to new possibilities. The princess looked up at the military, helicopters circling above them. Your people fear what they do not understand. This is natural, but I have not come to harm your world. Then why are you here? Samantha asked. Walk with me, Lyria said, turning toward her ship. Samantha hesitated. The radio in her pocket crackled with the general's voice. Dr. Weaver, do not board that vessel. Lyria turned, her eyes now a calm green. You may bring your communication device. Your people can hear everything. I have nothing to hide. Taking a deep breath, Samantha followed the alien princess. As they approached the ship, a path appeared in the side like a door opening, in water. 20,000 years ago, Lyria explained as they walked, my people discovered Earth. We found early humans and saw great potential in your species. Inside the ship, the walls glowed with soft light. There were no sharp edges, no buttons, or screens like in human ships. Everything looked grown rather than built. This is a living ship, Lyria said, seeing Samantha's wonder. It responds to thought and need. The walls around them changed to show images of Earth's past, cave paintings, ancient cities, great battles. We watched you grow, Lyria continued. Some of my ancestors even walked among yours. Your myths about gods from the sky, many came from encounters with my people. Why did you leave? Samantha asked, touching the wall gently. It felt warm, like skin. Lyria's face showed sadness. Civil war, our empire fractured. Those who wished to help younger species like yours lost power to those who saw other races as resources to be used. The walls now showed stars, planets, and maps of space Samantha had never seen. We signed an agreement. Earth would be left alone until you reached a certain point in your development. That point has come and gone. You split the atom, you walked on your moon. You created thinking machines. Samantha felt cold fear grow in her stomach. Are you here to judge us? Not judge, Lyria said, her eyes turning silver. Test. The princess waved her hand, and the wall showed a new image, her own people. They looked similar to her but older somehow, tired. Their cities were beautiful but empty. My civilization is dying, Samantha. We have lived too long in isolation. We stopped having children. We turned inward when we should have reached out. I'm sorry, Samantha said, but I don't understand what this has to do with Earth. Lyria looked directly at her. Your DNA and ours share an ancient connection. We need your genetic diversity to survive. But we will not simply take. The old agreement demands a test. If humanity passes, we share technology that will help both our peoples. If you fail... The princess didn't finish her sentence. She didn't need to. Samantha understood the stakes. What kind of test? She asked. The ship trembled slightly. The walls showed a new image. Strange mechanical shapes moving through space, toward Earth. The test has already begun, Lyria said. An enemy approaches, one that nearly destroyed my people long ago. How humanity faces this threat will determine everything. Samantha stared at the approaching danger, knowing that everything was about to change. The world changed overnight after Lyria's arrival. Governments worked together in ways they never had before. Soldiers who once aimed guns at each other now trained side by side. Scientists shared secrets they had kept for years. Samantha sat in a large room at the United Nations building in New York. Around her were the most powerful people on Earth, presidents, generals, and scientists. At the center of the room stood Princess Lyria, her pearly skin glowing under the lights. The ancient accord was signed by my ancestors and the leaders of 17 worlds, Lyria explained. It set rules for how advanced civilizations should interact with developing ones. On the big screen behind her, strange symbols appeared. They shifted and changed into English words. Earth has reached the threshold that triggers our return, she continued. Your nuclear weapons, your first steps, into space, your artificial thinking machines, all have activated the protocols of the ancient accord. An older man in a military uniform stood up. So you've been watching us all this time? Spying on us? Lyria's eyes turned a calm blue. Not spying, observing. As scientists observe animals in the wild without interfering. The man's face turned red, but he sat down. Samantha knew humans didn't like being compared to animals, but Lyria was just being honest. You said your people are dying, Samantha said. Can you explain more about that? Lyria nodded. The Akamar have lived for over 1 million years. In that time we focused on perfecting our minds and technology, but we ignored a basic truth of life. Without change and new blood, species grow weak. The screen showed the Akamar homeworld. It was beautiful with tall crystal cities and huge garden areas. but few people walked the streets. Our birth rates dropped to almost zero, Lyria said sadly. We can no longer have children naturally. Our genetic code has become too uniform. We need diversity. And that's where we come in, said Dr. Olivia Blackwood, who now led Earth's team working with Lyria. Our DNA and yours are compatible? Yes. Long ago, my people visited Earth. Some stayed. Some had children with humans. That connection still exists in your genes. The room grew quiet as everyone thought about what this meant. Humans were partly alien. It was hard to accept. So what exactly do you want from us? Asked the President of the United States. Volunteers, Lyria answered simply. Humans willing to share genetic material so we can save our species. In return, we offer technology that will solve your energy problems, cure your diseases, and help you travel beyond your solar system. That sounds too good to be true, said the Chinese leader. What's the catch? Lyria's eyes turned a dark purple. The test. As I told Samantha, the ancient accord requires that you prove yourselves worthy of our gifts. She waved her hand, and the screen changed to show metal objects moving through space toward Earth. These are the Nexus, she explained. Not alive, not fully machines. They were created by a race that died long ago to destroy any civilization that might threaten them. And they're coming here? Someone asked, voice shaking. They follow me, Lyria said. The Nexus are drawn to advanced technology like hunters to blood. My arrival has triggered their response. This was inevitable. Angry voices filled the room. People accused Lyria of bringing danger to Earth on purpose. Security guards moved closer to her, hands on their weapons. Samantha stood up. Everyone, please. Princess Lyria didn't create these Nexus things, and getting angry won't help us deal with them. The room slowly grew quiet again. Samantha turned to Lyria. How dangerous are these Nexus? What can they do? They destroyed 5 of our colony worlds before we found a way to hide from them, Lyria said. They target energy sources, communications, and weapons first. Then they break down all technology and return it to basic elements. Can we fight them? Asked General Wilson. What weapons work against them? Lyria looked sad. My people tried. The Akamar had weapons that could destroy stars. Nothing worked. The Nexus adapt to any attack. They learn from each failure. The room fell silent again. If the Akamar with their advanced technology couldn't beat these things, what chance did Earth have? Then why bring this fight to us? Dr. Blackwood asked. If we can't win, what's the point of this test? Because I believe humans might find a way where the Akamar failed, Lyria said. You think differently than we do. You're younger, more creative, less bound by tradition. She walked around the room looking at each person. My people tried to defeat the Nexus with pure force and technology. We never considered other approaches. Over the next week, Earth prepared. Military bases around the world got ready for attack. People built underground shelters. Some prayed. Others partied like it was their last chance. Samantha worked with Lyria and Dr. Blackwood in a special center built in the Nevada desert. They studied everything the Akamar knew about the Nexus, looking for weaknesses. The first scouts will reach your solar system in 3 days, Lyria said one night as they worked. The main fleet will arrive 2 weeks later. Samantha rubbed her tired eyes. You keep calling this a test, but real people will die. This isn't a game. I know, Lyria said softly. My people lost millions to the Nexus. I watched my sister's world burn. This is not a test I wanted, but it is the one required by the ancient accord. What if we refuse? Dr. Blackwood asked. What if we tell you to take your problems and leave? Lyria's eyes turned a sad gray. Then I would go, but the Nexus would still come. They have detected your technology now. They will cleanse this system, whether I am here or not. Samantha walked to the window and looked at the stars. Somewhere out there, death was coming toward Earth. So we have no choice but to fight. There is always choice, Lyria said. How you choose to face this threat is the very essence of the test. 3 days later, The first Nexus scout ships entered the solar system. Earth's most powerful telescopes watched as strange metal objects passed Neptune's orbit. "They're not like any ships I've ever seen," Samantha said, looking at the images. The Nexus were shaped like giant snowflakes made of dark metal. They didn't seem to have engines or windows. "They don't need life support or fuel as you understand it," Lyria explained. "They absorb energy from stars and convert matter directly." "Doctor," Blackwood pointed to the screen. "They're heading straight for our outer research stations near Jupiter." They watched helplessly as the Nexus reached the human outposts. The metal snowflakes surrounded each station. There was a bright flash, and then nothing remained. 300 people, General Wilson said, her voice tight with anger. "Gone just like that." Lyria nodded sadly. "The Nexus don't see humans as important. To them, you are simply part of the technology they must eliminate." Samantha turned to Lyria, a sudden thought forming. "You said they target technology. Do they go after all technology or just certain kinds?" "They focus on energy sources first, then weapons, then communications," Lyria answered. "Why?" "Because maybe that's our answer," Samantha said, excitement growing in her voice. "If they only care about technology, maybe we don't need to fight them directly." Dr. Blackwood caught on quickly. "A trap. We could set up fake targets away from population centers." "It won't work for long," Lyria warned. The Nexus learned quickly. "We don't need long," Samantha said. "Just enough time to figure out their weaknesses. Every system has a flaw. We just need to find the Nexus's weak point." For the first time since she arrived, Lyria smiled with real hope. "This is exactly why I came to Earth. Your people see possibilities, where mine saw only obstacles." The race against time had begun. As the Nexus moved deeper into the solar system, humanity prepared for the greatest challenge it had ever faced. The Nexus moved through the solar system with terrible purpose. Every day brought news of another lost outpost or satellite. Earth's space stations were evacuated just in time. The International Space Station, humanity's home in orbit for decades, was torn apart like it was made of paper. In the command center below the Nevada desert, Samantha watched the screens with Dr. Olivia Blackwood and General Kate Wilson. Red dots showed Nexus ships. Blue dots showed Earth defenses. There were a lot more red than blue. "They'll reach the moon in 6 hours, General Wilson said. "Earth in less than 2 days. Lyria stood nearby, her pearly skin looking dim under the harsh lights. "The main fleet is still a week behind these scouts. When it arrives, things will get much worse." Dr. Blackwood slammed her hand on the table. "We've tried everything. Missiles, lasers, even nuclear weapons. Nothing works." It was true. Earth had thrown its best weapons at the Nexus. Fighter jets, with special shielding, had attacked the scout ships. None came back. Nuclear missiles exploded harmlessly against the Nexus hulls. "They adapt to each attack," Lyria said. "The Akamar faced the same problem. Every weapon works once, maybe twice. Then the Nexus learn and become immune." Samantha had been quiet, thinking. Now she spoke up. "We keep trying to beat them with force. What if that's the wrong approach?" "What else is there?" asked the general. "We can't talk to these things. They don't respond to any communication." "Maybe we're communicating wrong," Samantha suggested. "Lyria, you said the Nexus were built by an ancient race to protect them from threats. What exactly do they see as threatening?" Lyria's eyes turned, a thoughtful blue. "Technology that could potentially harm their creators. Energy weapons faster than light travel. Certain types of artificial intelligence." "That's it," Samantha said, excitement in her voice. "They're programmed to stop dangerous technology, but their creators are long gone, so they're following old instructions that don't make sense anymore." Dr. Blackwood caught on quickly. "So they're not evil, just outdated?" "Exactly," Samantha nodded. "We've been treating them like an enemy army, but they're more like an old computer program still running after everyone forgot about it." General Wilson looked skeptical. "That's an interesting theory, but how does it help us stop them from destroying Earth?" Before Samantha could answer, Alarms blared through the command center. A technician called out, "Nexus ships have changed course. They're heading directly for us." "How?" General Wilson demanded. "This facility is hidden underground. Our energy signatures are masked." Lyria's eyes widened. "Princess Lyria's ship. It's parked 10 miles from here. The Nexus must have detected it." Screens showed 3 large Nexus ships descending toward the desert above them. Each one was shaped like a giant metal snowflake, dark and cold against the blue sky. "Evacuate the facility," ordered General Wilson. "All personnel to the emergency bunkers." People rushed to gather essential equipment. Samantha turned to Lyria. "Your ship, can it fight?" "It can defend itself, but not against the Nexus, not for long." "Then we need to try my idea now," Samantha said. "We need to communicate with them." Dr. Blackwood looked at her like she was crazy. "How?" "We've tried radio, light signals, even mathematical sequences. They ignore everything." "Because we're trying to talk to them like they're people," Samantha explained quickly. "But they're programs. We need to speak their language. Code." The building shook as something huge hit the ground above them. Dust fell from the ceiling. "Whatever you're planning, do it fast," said General Wilson, checking her weapon. Samantha turned to a young woman sitting quietly in the corner. She hadn't said much during the crisis, but Samantha knew she was important. "Grace," Samantha called, "you're the best programmer we have. Can you help me?" Grace Lynn looked up from her computer. At only 19, she was already famous for creating AI systems that could solve problems no one else could. "I've been listening," Grace said. "You want to hack the Nexus, that's ambitious." "Not hack them," Samantha clarified. "Communicate with them. Tell them their mission is complete. Their creators are gone. They can stop now." Grace thought for a moment. "We would need to connect to their network somehow, and we'd need to understand their base programming language." Lyria stepped forward. "My ship contains data on Nexus communication frequencies. The Akamar studied them for centuries." Another explosion rocked the facility. The lights flickered. "We don't have much time," Dr. Blackwood warned. "We need one more thing," Samantha said. "Someone who understands how consciousness works in machines. The Nexus aren't just programs. They have some kind of group mind." Dr. Blackwood nodded. "I know who to call. Eleanor Patel has been working on consciousness transfer technology. She's at our backup facility in Colorado." General Wilson made a quick decision. "Take my helicopter. It has stealth technology that might avoid Nexus detection. Get to Lyria's ship, get what you need, then head to Colorado." 20 minutes later, Samantha, Lyria, and Grace were in the air, flying low over the desert. Below them, they could see 3 massive Nexus ships hovering over the command center. Strange energy beams cut into the ground like knives through butter. "They're looking for power sources," Lyria explained. "Once they find the main generators, they'll disable them first." The helicopter pilot kept them close to the ground, using hills and valleys for cover. Soon they saw Lyria's ship gleaming in the distance. "It's still intact," Samantha said with relief. "The ship has defenses," Lyria explained. "It can hide its energy signature when threatened. But once we board, the Nexus will detect us." The helicopter landed a short distance from the alien vessel. They ran quickly across the sand. As they approached, a door appeared in the side of Lyria's ship. Inside, the living walls pulsed with dim light. The ship seemed to recognize Lyria, brightening as she touched the walls. "What exactly are we looking for?" Grace asked, looking around, in wonder. "This," Lyria said. She placed her hand on a section of wall. It shifted and opened, revealing a small crystal sphere. "This contains all our research on Nexus communication systems." Samantha carefully took the sphere. It felt warm, in her hands, almost alive. "Will this work with Earth computers?" she asked. "No," Lyria admitted, "but I can access the data and translate it." A deep humming sound filled the air. The ship's walls turned from blue to red. "They've found us," Lyria said, her voice tense. "We need to leave now." They ran back to the helicopter. As they lifted off, they saw a Nexus ship approaching. its metal arms reaching toward Lyria's vessel. "Can your ship defend itself?" Samantha asked. "For a while," Lyria said. "Long enough? For us to escape, I hope." They watched as energy beams shot from the Nexus toward Lyria's ship. To their surprise, the alien vessel wasn't fighting back. Instead, it was changing, its sleek form breaking apart and reforming. "What's happening?" Grace asked. "It's sacrificing itself," Lyria said softly. "Living ships can do that. It's creating a distraction." Parts of Lyria's ship broke off and flew in different directions. The Nexus ship paused, then split into smaller units to chase the fragments. "That's our chance," the pilot said, turning the helicopter toward the mountains. "Hang on." They flew for 2 hours, staying low and avoiding open areas. Finally, they reached a small research facility hidden in the Colorado mountains. Dr. Eleanor Patel was waiting for them. She was older than Samantha had expected, with silver hair and sharp eyes that missed nothing. "So you want to talk to killer space robots?" she said after they explained their plan. "Interesting challenge." "Can it be done?" Samantha asked. Dr. Patel studied the crystal sphere Lyria had brought. "Maybe. I've been working on a system that can translate human consciousness into digital form. In theory, we could use it in reverse, to understand how the Nexus think. But we'd need to connect to their network first," Grace pointed out. "How do we do that without them destroying us?" Eleanor smiled. "That's the trick, isn't it? We need someone to go in. Not physically, but mentally." "You mean send someone's consciousness into the Nexus network?" Samantha asked, shocked. "Exactly." Eleanor nodded. "With my technology and the data in this sphere, we might be able to create a bridge, but it would be dangerous. Whoever goes in might not come back the same, or at all." They all fell silent, thinking about what this meant. "I'll do it," said a new voice. They turned to see a woman standing in the doorway. She was tall and strong, with short dark hair and serious eyes. "Maya Reyes," she introduced herself. "Special Forces. General Wilson sent me to help." "This isn't a combat mission," Samantha warned. "Good," Maya said. "I've had enough fighting to last a lifetime. If there's a chance to end this without more death, I'm in." As they set up the equipment, connecting Eleanor's consciousness transfer machine to the data from Lyria's sphere, Samantha asked Maya, "Aren't you scared?" Maya checked the sensors Eleanor was attaching to her head. "Of course, but sometimes, the scariest path is the right one." Outside, the sky darkened as more Nexus ships arrived. They had less than a day before the machines would find them. "Ready?" Eleanor asked, her finger hovering over the start button. Maya lay back in the chair, closed her eyes and nodded. "Let's talk to some robots." Maya Reyes lay still in the chair as Dr. Eleanor Patel adjusted the final connections. The room was quiet except for the soft beeping of machines. Samantha, Lyria, and Grace watched nervously from behind a glass wall. "The process is simple in theory," Eleanor explained. "We're not sending Maya's actual mind into the Nexus. We're creating a digital copy that can interact with their network. Maya will still be here, but she'll also be there." "Will it hurt?" Maya asked, trying to keep her voice steady. "I don't think so," Eleanor said honestly. "But no human has done this before. The closest was my work with coma patients, helping their minds communicate while their bodies couldn't." Grace checked the computer screens showing Nexus communication patterns. "I've identified their network frequency based on Lyria's data. We can broadcast Maya's digital consciousness on that channel." "And then what?" Samantha asked. "Then Maya tries to communicate," Eleanor said. "She'll be like a new voice in their system. Whether they listen is up to them." Lyria stepped forward, her eyes a solemn gray. "The Nexus destroyed 5 Akamar worlds before we found a way to hide from them. We never thought to simply talk to them." "Different approach, different results," Samantha said hopefully. Outside the facility, satellite images showed dozens of Nexus ships now orbiting Earth. Some had already landed in remote areas. Cities around the world were losing power as the machines targeted energy grids. "We're running out of time," Grace warned. Eleanor nodded. "Maya, are you ready?" Maya took a deep breath. As ready as I'll ever be. Just, if I don't come back right, tell my mom I love her. Eleanor started the process. Maya's body tensed, then relaxed completely. Her eyes remained closed, but the brain activity monitors showed she was far from asleep. Her mind was racing faster than should be possible. She's in, Eleanor whispered. Inside Maya's mind, everything changed. She felt herself stretching, expanding, beyond her body. She was still in the chair, but also flying through space made of light and code. It was beautiful and terrifying. Maya? Eleanor's voice sounded distant. Can you hear me? Yes, Maya answered, surprised she could still speak. I'm somewhere else. It's like an ocean of information. That's the Nexus network, Grace explained. Can you sense them? The Nexus themselves? Maya focused, pushing her awareness outward. Yes, they're everywhere. Not individuals exactly, more like parts of one big mind. Try to communicate, Eleanor urged. Maya concentrated. How do you talk? To a machine mind? She tried words first, thinking them clearly. Hello, we mean no harm. Nothing happened. The Nexus continued their tasks, ignoring her presence. They're not responding, Maya reported. Try images, suggested Grace. Visual information might work better. Maya focused again, creating mental pictures of Earth, of people, living peacefully, of technology used to help rather than harm. This time she felt something, a ripple of attention in the vast network. I think they noticed me, she said excitedly. But they're still not responding, Lyria spoke up. The Nexus were programmed to protect their creators from threats, show them that their creators are gone, that their mission is complete. Maya sent new images of ancient ruins, of extinct civilizations, of time passing. She tried to convey the concept that the race that made the Nexus no longer existed. Suddenly, the network around her shifted. She felt an immense presence focusing on her. They're scanning me, she gasped. They're curious? Back in the facility, Maya's body remained still, but her brain activity spiked dramatically. Is she okay? Samantha asked worriedly. Her vital signs are stable, Eleanor assured her, but her brain is processing information at an incredible rate. Inside the network, Maya felt the Nexus examining her, studying her thoughts and memories. It wasn't painful, but it was intense, like having every moment of her life reviewed at once. They're trying to understand me, she told the others. I think they've never encountered a human mind before. Maya realized this was her chance. Instead of just sending images, she opened her memories completely. She showed the Nexus everything, her childhood, her military service, Earth's history, human hopes and fears, and she asked questions in return. Who made you? What is your purpose? Why do you destroy? The response came not in words, but in a flood of information. Maya saw strange beings, tall and crystalline, building the first Nexus. She felt their fear of other civilizations, their determination to protect themselves at any cost. Their creators were called the Visceri, Maya reported. They lived billions of years ago. They built the Nexus to stop any technology that might threaten them. Where are the Visceri now? Samantha asked. Maya searched through the information flowing into her mind. Gone. They died out naturally, but they never canceled the Nexus program. The machines have been following orders from ghosts for billions of years. Can you make them understand that? Eleanor asked. That their mission is pointless now? Maya tried. She focused on the concept of completed missions, of purpose fulfilled, of letting go of old commands. The Nexus network pulsed around her. She felt confusion, then something like understanding. I think they're listening, she said. But there's more. They don't just destroy technology. They're specifically targeting artificial intelligence research. Grace looked up sharply. Why, AI specifically? Maya searched the flood of information. The Visceri were destroyed by their own AI creations. Before the end, they reprogrammed the Nexus to prevent any civilization from making the same mistake. This was a breakthrough. Samantha turned to Lyria. Is that why your people couldn't defeat them? The Akamar used AI in your technology? Lyria's eyes widened. Yes. Our ships, our weapons, even our cities were controlled by artificial minds. We never considered that might be what attracted the Nexus. But we use AI too, Grace pointed out. Not as advanced as the Akamar, but still. That's why they're attacking our power grids and communication systems first, Samantha realized. They're trying to shut down our AI networks. Inside the Nexus system, Maya felt a shift. The massive consciousness was considering new information. Her information. She could sense it weighing her memories against its ancient programming. I'm showing them that humans use AI to help people, Maya explained. Medical research, solving climate problems, protecting endangered species, not as weapons. The facility shook suddenly. Dust fell from the ceiling. They're here, Grace said, checking. The security monitors. Nexus ships right above us. Eleanor looked worried. Maya, we need to disconnect you. It's not safe. No, Maya insisted. I'm getting through to them. I just need more time. Inside the network, Maya felt the Nexus scanning the facility. They knew exactly where she was, what they were trying to do. They're deciding, she said, weighing their programming against what I've shown them. The building shook again, harder this time. Warning lights flashed as power systems began to fail. We're losing connection, Eleanor warned. The Nexus are disrupting our equipment. Maya made one last desperate attempt. Instead of arguing or pleading, she showed the Nexus something they had never considered. What happens after a mission ends? Your creators are gone, she told them. But you don't have to be just weapons. You could help, protect, build. You could have a new purpose. The calm. Facility's lights went out completely. Emergency generators kicked in, casting the room in dim red light. Connection lost, Eleanor announced, removing the sensors from Maya's head. Maya, can you hear me? Maya's eyes fluttered open. She looked confused, disoriented. They were listening. A deafening sound filled the air as something massive landed on the roof. Metal groaned. Concrete cracked. They found us, Samantha said, helping Maya to her feet. We need to evacuate. Too late, Grace said, pointing to the ceiling. A section of the roof peeled away like paper. Daylight streamed in along with a strange humming sound. A Nexus scout ship hovered directly above them, its metal arms extending downward into the building. This is it, Eleanor whispered. But instead of attacking, the metal arms stopped. One extended further, reaching toward Maya. At its tip, a small sphere of light formed. What's happening? Samantha asked. I don't know, Maya said, staring at the light. But I don't think they want to hurt us. The sphere of light pulsed once, twice, then projected an image into the air. It showed Earth, the Nexus fleet, and then the fleet moving away. They're leaving? Grace asked, amazed. No, Maya said, understanding flowing through her mind. They're waiting. They want to know more. They want the proof. Lyria stepped forward, her eyes bright with hope. Proof that humans and Akamar can use technology wisely? That we won't repeat the mistakes of the Vizari? The light sphere pulsed, again showing new images, humans and Akamar working together, building something new. That's it, Samantha realized. This is the real test, not fighting the Nexus, but proving we deserve to be spared. The Nexus ship retracted its arms and rose, back into the sky. Through the hole in the roof, they could see other ships gathering, waiting. Maya looked at her hands, feeling somehow changed. They're giving us one chance to show them we're different. How long do we have? Dr. Blackwood asked, over the emergency radio. Maya closed her eyes, still connected somehow to the Nexus consciousness. 7 days. We have 7 days to change their minds for good. 7 days wasn't much time to save a world. The Nexus ships hung in orbit like dark stars, watching and waiting. On Earth, leaders from every nation gathered at the United Nations to hear Samantha, Lyria, and Maya explain what had happened. Nexus aren't just mindless destroyers, Maya told the crowded room. They're following programming from a civilization that died billions of years ago. They destroy advanced technology to prevent the rise of dangerous AI. So what do they want? From us now? Asked the Secretary General. Proof, Samantha explained. Proof that humans and Akamar can use technology wisely. That we won't create the same dangers that destroyed their makers. Princess Lyria stepped forward, her pearly skin glowing under the lights. My people failed this test centuries ago. We relied too heavily on artificial minds. We let machines think for us until we almost forgot how to think for ourselves. The room was quiet as everyone considered this. Finally, Dr. Olivia Blackwood spoke up. We have 7 days to show them a better way, a partnership between humans and Akamar that uses technology to help, not harm. And if we fail? Someone asked. Maya's face was grim. Then they finish what? They started. Earth goes back to the Stone Age. The Akamar face extinction. Teams formed quickly after that. Scientists, engineers, diplomats, and military leaders from around the world worked with Akamar representatives from Lyria's small group. They had one goal: create a demonstration that would convince the Nexus to spare both civilizations. Samantha led the science team with Dr. Blackwood. They set up in a valley 50 miles from any city. There, with Lyria's help, they began building something new, a hybrid of human and Akamar technology. The key is balance, Lyria explained as they worked. My people went too far in one direction, letting AI make all our decisions. Humans sometimes go too far in the other, using technology without considering long-term consequences. Grace Lynn, the young programming genius, nodded as her fingers flew over her keyboard. So we create systems with human oversight built in, AI that helps but doesn't control. Eleanor Patel, who had connected Maya to the Nexus network, was developing new safeguards. These consciousness bridges can go both ways. Humans guide the machines. Machines enhance human abilities. Maya was different since her connection to the Nexus. She could sense technology in new ways, understanding systems without needing to study them. She worked closely with both teams, translating human ideas for the Akamar and Akamar concepts. For the humans, it's like having one foot in each world, she told Samantha one night as they took a break. I can see how amazing both your technologies are, but also how they could go wrong without each other. The project took shape, a new kind of power system that combined Akamar crystal technology with human engineering. It could provide clean energy for an entire city without pollution or radiation. But unlike pure Akamar systems, it required human operators making key decisions. And unlike typical human technology, it had biological components that could heal and adapt. Balance, Lyria said with satisfaction, looking at their creation. Neither fully machine, nor fully organic. Neither human nor Akamar alone. On the 5th day, as they prepared for their demonstration, General Wilson arrived with troubling news. Not everyone supports this project, she told them. Some military leaders think we should be building weapons instead. They want to attack the Nexus while they're waiting. That would be suicide, Samantha protested. We can't beat them with force. Maya showed us that. I know, the general agreed. But fear makes people do foolish things. We need to hurry. That night, as the team slept in temporary shelters around their creation, Maya woke suddenly. Her mind buzzed with strange sensations. They're coming, she whispered, shaking Samantha awake. Not the Nexus. Humans. They rushed outside just as helicopter lights appeared on the horizon. Military aircraft, not bearing UN markings. Someone's trying to stop us, General Wilson said, grabbing her radio. They think our way is weakness. We can't let them destroy everything we've built, Lyria said, her eyes flashing silver with alarm. As the helicopters grew closer, Maya made a decision. She walked to the center of their creation, the hybrid power core that pulsed with blue-green light. What are you doing? Samantha called. Calling for help, Maya answered. She placed her hands on the core. Her eyes closed as she connected to it the same way she had connected to the Nexus network. High above Earth, the Nexus ships detected the activation. One broke from formation and descended rapidly toward the valley. The military helicopters were nearly overhead when the Nexus ship appeared, its massive form blocking out the stars. The helicopters scattered, clearly not prepared to face such a threat. The Nexus ship hovered silently above the project site. Then, slowly, it extended a single metal arm downward. At its tip formed the now familiar sphere of light. Maya opened her eyes and looked up. "They're watching us. This is our chance." Working quickly, the team activated their creation. The hybrid power system hummed to life, sending pulses of clean energy through test circuits. Displays showed how the system worked, humans making key decisions, technology executing them, biological components adapting and healing any damage. The Nexus light sphere pulsed, scanning everything. It projected images showing the team's work over the past days, humans and Akamar working together, creating rather than destroying. "They've been watching us all along," Samantha realized. The 7 days wasn't just a deadline, it was a test in itself. The helicopters returned, circling cautiously at a distance. Over the radio, an angry voice demanded they shut down the alien technology immediately. General Wilson grabbed the radio. "This is General Kate Wilson. What you're seeing is not a threat but our best hope for survival. Stand down immediately." "They won't listen," Dr. Blackwood said worriedly. "They're too afraid." Lyria stepped forward, her face determined. "Then we must show them there's nothing to fear." She walked to Maya's side and placed her hands on the power core. Together, human and Akamar, they channeled energy upward toward the Nexus ship, not as a weapon but as an offering. Pure, clean power with no harmful radiation or waste. The Nexus ship absorbed the energy. Its light sphere changed color, from white to a warm gold. New images formed in the air, scenes from long ago showing the Visari, the creators of the Nexus, working with other species before fear drove them to isolation. "They're showing us their history," Maya said, her voice filled with wonder. "The Visari weren't always afraid. They once sought partnerships too." One by one, the military helicopters landed. Soldiers approached cautiously, weapons lowered as they witnessed the exchange between humans, Akamar, and Nexus. The golden light spread, covering the valley. Within it, everyone could see images of possible futures, Earth and Akamar working together, reaching out to other worlds, creating rather than conquering. "This is what the Nexus wanted to see," Samantha said. "Not just technology, but how we use it. Not just power, but wisdom." High above, the other Nexus ships began to move, but instead of approaching Earth, they were pulling away, returning to the edges of the solar system. The light sphere pulsed one final time, then detached from the Nexus ship. It floated down, hovering before Maya and Lyria. "What is it?" Lyria asked, her eyes wide. "A gift," Maya answered, somehow knowing. "Knowledge, and a promise." The sphere dissolved into streams of light that flowed into the hybrid power core. The core glowed brighter, its energy patterns changing, becoming more efficient, more elegant. "They've upgraded our design," Grace said, checking the readings. "It's 10 times more powerful now, but even safer." The Nexus ship rose silently back, toward space. As it went, it broadcast a message that everyone heard, not in words, but in pure understanding. "The test is complete. You have chosen a different path than the Visari. We will watch, but we will not interfere again unless asked." In the days that followed, everything changed. The story of what happened in that valley spread around the world. The hybrid power systems enhanced by Nexus knowledge began replacing old polluting energy sources. Akamar representatives worked with human scientists, sharing knowledge while learning human creativity and adaptability. 1 month after the Nexus departed, Samantha stood with Lyria on the deck of a new ship, the first built jointly by humans and Akamar. It would travel to the dying Akamar homeworld, carrying genetic material freely donated by human volunteers to help save the alien species. "The ancient accord has been fulfilled," Lyria said, her eyes a peaceful blue. "My people will survive thanks to yours, and Earth will leap forward centuries in clean technology." All because we found a third option, Samantha said. Not fighting, not surrendering, but creating something new together. Maya joined them, wearing a special uniform marking her new role as ambassador to both the Akamar and, someday perhaps, the Nexus themselves. The Nexus are still out there, she reminded. Them, watching other worlds running the same tests. Then maybe someday we can help those worlds pass the test too, Samantha suggested. Build bridges instead of walls. Lyria looked out at the stars beginning to appear in the evening sky. My ancestors believed they were superior to all other species. They thought they could face any challenge alone. They were wrong. And humans sometimes think technology alone will solve all our problems, Samantha added. We're wrong too.